All right, so here we go. We're on Chapter 8, Ground Procedures and Flight Preparations in the Helicopter Flying Handbook. We're going to be on Chapter 3, page 3, Chapter 8, Engine Start and Rotor Engagement. During the engine start, rotor engagement, and systems ground check, use the manufacturer's checklist. If a problem arises, have it checked before continuing. Prior to performing these tasks, however, make sure the area around and above the helicopter is clear of personnel and equipment. Position the rotor blades so that they are not aligned with the fuselage. This may prevent the engine from being started with the blades still fastened. For a two-bladed rotor system, position the blades so that they are perpendicular to the fuselage and easily seen from the cockpit. Helicopters are safe and efficient flying machines as long as they are operated within the parameters established by the manufacturers. Rotor safety considerations. The exposed nature of the main and tail rotor deserves special caution. Exercise extreme care when taxiing near hangars or obstructions, since the distance between the rotor blade tips and obstructions is very difficult to judge. In addition, the tail rotor of some helicopters cannot be seen from the cabin. Therefore, when hovering backwards or turning in those helicopters, allow plenty of room for tail rotor clearance. It is a good practice to glance over your shoulder to maintain the clearance. Exercise extreme caution when hovering near buildings or other aircraft. Another rotor safety consideration is the thrust a helicopter generates. The main rotor system is capable of blowing sand, dust, snow, ice, and water at high velocities for a significant distance, causing injury to nearby people and damage to buildings, automobiles, and other aircraft. Loose snow, sand, and soil can severely reduce visibility and obscure outside visual references. There is also the possibility of sand and snow being ingested into the engine's intake, which can overwhelm filters and cut off air to the engine or allow unfiltered air into the engine, leading to premature failure. Any airborne debris near the helicopter can be ingested into the engine air intake or struck by the main and tail rotor blades. All right. Aircraft servicing. The helicopter rotor blades are usually stopped and both the aircraft and the refueling unit properly grounded prior to any refueling operation. The pilot should ensure that the proper grade of fuel and proper additives, when required, are being dispensed. Refueling of a turbine aircraft while the blades are turning, known as hot refueling, may be practical for certain types of operations. However, this can be hazardous if not properly conducted. Pilots should remain at flight controls, and refueling personnel should be knowledgeable about the proper refueling procedures and properly briefed for specific helicopter makes and models. The pilot may need to train the refueling personnel on proper hot refueling procedures for the specific helicopter. The pilot should explain communication signs or calls, normal servicing procedures, and emergency procedures as a minimum. At all times during the refueling process, the pilot should remain vigilant and ready to immediately shut down the engine and egress the aircraft. Several accidents have occurred due to hot refueling performed by improperly trained personnel. Refueling units should be positioned to ensure adequate rotor blade clearance. Persons not involved with the refueling operation should keep clear of the area. Smoking must be prohibited in and around the aircraft during all refueling operations. If operations dictate that the pilot must leave the helicopter during refueling operations, the throttle should be rolled back to flight idle and flight control friction firmly applied to prevent uncommanded control movements. The pilot should be thoroughly trained on setting the controls and ingressing the helicopter. All right, we'll hold off there. That is page 4 of 6, chapter 8. That was aircraft servicing and rotor safety considerations. Engine start and rotor engagement. Yep. All right, we're going to continue on page 4 of 6, safety in and around helicopters.